Hello guys, I'm Aveline and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So I know I promised not to do more tiny houses for now at least, or at least until after I'd released a couple of normal sized houses, but I don't know, I really felt like building just one more, and I might feel like that after finishing up this video and uploading it, and because I have to work on the video for tomorrow. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It might be a tiny house, it might not. I think I might have developed a little bit of a problem because I just really thoroughly enjoy building these houses. They're so cute, so tiny, so small, and I don't know, I feel like you can put a lot of personality into a very small space, and I really love that. You guys know I've loved tiny houses before the new pack came out. It's just kind of inspired me to build more of them, sort of. And yeah, I don't know. Anyways, moving on. So we are building this little cottage today because it was requested or suggested quite a lot of times if I could build a tiny cottage. And then a lot of you also said if I could build it for a witch. So that is what we're doing today. It's not like super obvious that it's for a witch when it comes to the interior. However, there is a certain amount of crystals in the interior, and I've also used some stuff from Realm of Magic, of course. So, but with tiny houses, it is a little bit difficult to fit in a cauldron, for example. It's also difficult to fit in, I don't know, an alchemy cupboard, whatever those are called. So I have not done that, but I tried. I tried to make it look like it was a cottage for a witch. Maybe someone who's not like obvious, like not an obvious kind of witch, because that was also suggested over on the community tab, which is why I'm calling this a secret hidden witch cottage or something. I don't actually remember the title of this video. I'm sorry. I've not written the title yet, so that's my excuse. But it'll be for a witch that's not like a super obvious kind of witch. Does that make any sense? I don't really know. Moving on. So I also really wanted to do something kind of fun and different with the landscaping. So, and this is when it might be a little bit difficult to explain, but the house itself, so the little box you see here, which is the cottage, the house, is actually less than 32 tiles, or it's exactly 32 tiles. So the house itself is considered a micro home. But because I placed some foundation around the house, so the house itself is considered a micro home, but because of that foundation, it counts towards the tiles, and that's why it's technically a tier 2 tiny house and not a tier 1 micro home. So I do want to just point that out. You won't get all the benefits if you choose to live in this house, even though the house itself is very, very, very small. But you will get at least the tier 2 benefits. So just so you know, because it was my mission to make it a micro home, but then I realized that I wanted to do something a little bit different with the landscaping, so I didn't want to just use terrain tools. I kind of wanted to mix the foundation with the terrain tools, and yeah, foundation just counts towards tiles even though they're not rooms or anything, so that is just how that is. Even though it's just for landscaping purposes, it still counts towards the tile count, so nothing I can do about that, but I had a lot of fun building this house, and that's the most important thing. So because this is a cottage and also for a witch, I decided not to use a lot of the stuff from the new pack, but we're just going for the tier system, or we're building according to the tier system. That makes sense in some sort of way. But because I did get some comments, or I got one comment on my last video from someone saying that all my past builds, my past tiny houses had looked the same. I don't agree with that because I made a traditional house, I made one contemporary house, and then I made made one modern house, and then a couple of houses that were possibly contemporary too, or just, I don't really know what architectural style they were, to be honest, but they weren't all the same style. So I just feel like when we get new packs, I want to use the new furniture as much as possible. And that does require me to build something that exterior-wise would fit with the interior or the new furniture that we get. So I can't just build a cottage, a vintage kind of looking cottage, or a Tudor house or whatever, and then use the new furniture in that house, because they wouldn't go together. So I had to build something exterior-wise that would look good with the furniture. But today, we're just completely forgetting about that. We're building this little cottage, and yeah, we're basically not using a lot of the stuff. I don't actually think no, I haven't done that either. I've used the toilet, I think, and that's about it, to be honest. So I might build a trailer at some point next week, and I do have a theme in mind for the trailer, but If you got any suggestions, I am of course up for hearing you guys out because you guys are the ones that are going to see it. So let me know if you got any suggestions for that trailer. But it's just been a while since I've built like an actual trailer, and I kind of want to try and do it with the new restrictions as well, so with the tile count. So I'll probably be doing that for next week. And also, by the way, I also forgot to mention that this is built on a 40 by 30 in Granite Falls. You can move this to the other worlds because you can't actually live in Granite Falls. I just wanted to build it with a very nice foresty background, but you could put this in, for example, the forest area of Windenburg, and it would fit in there completely fine. You know, in the upper left area of the map, there's kind of like 6 lots or something. One of them is a 40 by 30 that is the same shape as this one, so it's longer instead of wider, and you could just plop down the build there and it would be perfectly fine. I just wanted to build it with like this sort of, I don't know, I like the landscaping in Granite Falls. I love how Granite Falls looks. It's very underrated in my opinion, so I just wanted to build here for a bit. So even though you can't live in Granite Falls, I do feel like it's fun building here sometimes. So I just, yeah, it's been a while. It had been a while, so I wanted to build just a little bit here. But like I said, you can just move it to one of the other worlds and it should fit perfectly into especially that forest area of Windenburg up in the upper left corner. So anyways, that was the one thing I forgot to mention. And then the other one was, I know I was supposed to put up the touring video today. I've not had the time to edit it yet. So, because I wasn't home all day yesterday, I was out buying plants, which I know sounds ridiculous, but I'm a bit of a plant addict these days. I don't really know what's going on. So I spend most of my day with my mom. We also had sushi and we lunched together too, and just bought a lot of plants and looked at plants. And my mom even got her first plant. Mama Lynn is a plant mom now, so kudos to her. But that's basically why this video is going up today instead of the other one. I promise it'll be up before this week is over, so probably Sunday. I don't think I'll have it done for tomorrow, but probably Sunday. So if you're looking forward to the touring video of the latest shell challenge, it'll be up on Sunday. I promise. And then next week, because Council is getting access to tiny living, I want to do a tiny house shell challenge. So that is probably going to start next week. So if you're looking for the next shell challenge, it'll be coming up too, and I'm really excited for it. So yeah, and that's about all that I forgot to mention at the start of the video. I am so sorry. I just feel like I always sit down and then before I start doing the voiceover, I go through a few subjects that I can talk about before I start talking, if that makes sense. And then I just completely forget them once I start talking. So that happened. I'm sorry, but now you know. Anyways, so we're just putting the finishing touches on the interior, I think. Of course, if you want 2 Sims to sleep in this house, you do have to remove those books, I think. I didn't actually play test it after I put the books down. I thought it would look really cute in the screenshots, but you may have to delete them for gameplay purposes because they may be blocking your Sim from actually lying in the bed, just so you know. And then we're moving on to the landscaping, which is definitely what took the longest when it came to this video. I took my time. I wanted it to, actually my first plan was to make it look very different from what it does, but then I realized, I don't know, in my head I just kind of forgot that foundation use on the exterior still counts towards tiles, and I still wanted this house to count as a tiny house. I still wanted to be able to use the tiny home residential lot type, so I had to kind of change the landscaping a little bit. But maybe for one of the upcoming tiny houses, I'll do something a little bit different and just forget about that lot type or something. So I might also do a build with more microhomes on one lot, even though they wouldn't count as microhomes anymore. But hopefully you get what I mean. It's kind of, because you could build like trailer parks before and have all the houses actually be tiny houses, but you can't really do that anymore because both of the houses will count towards the same tile counter. So that is just, yeah, it kind of ruins trailer parks a little bit, or at least you won't get the benefits. I don't really know how important the benefits are to gameplay, to be honest, but I still feel like it's fun to build according to the tile counter or the tile count. So that's kind of what's in mind. Like, I see it as an extra challenge. Let's put it like that. And in case you guys don't know, I'm sure that some of you have realized by now, but I love a good challenge. So It's just kind of like I have to follow that tile count. I have to in my mind. I have to. So yeah, I don't really know. We'll see how it goes in the future when it comes to tiny houses. I don't know, just like I said earlier in this video, I'm just really motivated to build more of them. So you'll probably see a couple more at some point, but I'll do my best to not build a tiny house for tomorrow. We will see. So anyways, as you can see, I went into the debug catalog because I'm enjoying doing that quite a lot lately with these rocks especially. I don't know, it's just when you're building tiny houses, because you're not spending as long on the interior as you are with normal sized houses, you suddenly have a lot more time to spend on landscaping, which is awesome. So when you're building houses like this that have landscaping that is a little bit different, because the house is on a hill, sort of. It's on a foundation, but also on a hill. I don't really know how to explain it. But you have just a little bit of extra time to spend on the exterior, spend on the landscaping. So I went into the debug catalog and fished out a couple of items that I wanted to use. So in the end, you'll find both. One of the broken bridges is in the pond. It took me ages to find it because I thought it was from Get Together. It's not. It's from base game. I don't know. I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure that bridge is not anywhere in the base game worlds. I think it's pretty much only in Get Together, or in Windenburg, I should say. But anyways, that's whatever. I found it in the end, and it's by the pond. The pond can also be used to fish in, by the way, because I did place one of the fish signs next to the pond. So if your sim is really into fishing, or I don't think this cottage works off the grid, but you can play off the grid pretend, so not with the actual lot type, but just say that you're off the grid. I don't really know how to explain it. Hopefully you get what I mean. Your sims can also fish in the pond if, you know, they don't want to go to the supermarket or something. And what else did I find in the debug catalog? Obviously the rocks behind, or the cliffs behind the house, and also on the side of the house. I think a couple of trees are from the debug catalog too, actually, and I also found the clothing rag, which is from Island Living, so I put that at the front of the house too, even though we don't have any laundry machines in this house. And I also didn't place the wash tub outside either, because I feel like that item just kind of sucks a little bit, so I don't really use it that often. You could do that if you want to. You can swap out the clothing rack with the clothing rack, or the clothesline, I should say, from Laundry Day, and then put the wash tub next to it, and your sim will be able to do laundry. I just feel like the wash tub is really annoying for gameplay because it takes ages, and your sim feels like poo afterwards, because unless they're really fit, it just, yeah, they feel sore or something. So I did place that next to the house though, and then I also found another thing from Island Living with some fish hanging on it. I don't really know. You'll see that later on, but lots of items from the debug catalog in this build. I had quite a lot of fun just scrolling through it for freaking ages, but it was a lot of fun, so I'm not complaining. And also, I didn't want the entire landscaping to just be green with a couple of white flowers here and there, so I actually decided to add some more purple flowers from the Romantic Garden stuff pack. I've mentioned this stuff pack quite a lot, but I use it pretty much every single build that I do. I love the flowers that came with that pack. They're so good for landscaping. Definitely recommend. And yeah, so I basically just wanted to add a little bit of color, so I did that with the flowers. I think I also ended up using one of the shrubs that's purple from possibly Outdoor Retreat. So, but other than that, it's mainly green landscaping. Very foresty, kind of has to go with the surroundings, you know, that sort of thing. So, but again, I had a lot of fun with this house. I had a lot of fun with the landscaping. Definitely let me know if you want to see more houses like this, like tiny houses with a little bit more focus on the landscaping compared to the house itself. So both the exterior but also the interior. I feel like it's limited how much time you can actually spend on the house when it's so tiny, you know? Like, you only have a couple of walls and they're not very long, so only one floor too. I kind of want to try to build a tiny house, so one that's less than 64 tiles and have it a 2-story house, because I haven't done that yet and I feel like it would be a little bit of a challenge, so you may see that next week. I'm not really sure. I also promised some of you guys that I wouldn't build as many tiny houses, but we'll see how it goes anyways. And then over here in the pond, I decided that I wanted to build them a little bit of like a raft looking item. I don't know. Are they called that? I feel like they're called rafts. They can't use it for anything because it's not really a raft. It's a thing that I put together with a couple of logs from the Debug catalog, but I thought it would look cute. So we can just pretend like they can sit on this little raft in the water and fish, or I don't know, read a book or something. So that's basically what that's about. And oh, one thing I do want to make sure, because I never mentioned this in pretty much any of my builds, but when you place down my builds, make sure you always activate bb.moveobjects before you place down the build, because otherwise some of the items, because I use so much clutter and I also use the red shelf and stuff, some of the items won't be placed where they're supposed to be. So just in case you did not know that, please make sure you activate that cheat code before you place down my builds so that everything is in the right spot. And yeah, I never mentioned that. I really don't know why. I just completely forget. But yeah, other than that, I think we are pretty much about done with this build. I'm doing just a little bit more landscaping here at the back of the house because I didn't want it to look like I'd only paid attention to the front of the house. So I put some plants here. Later on in one of the screenshots, you'll see that the terrain paint is gone, and or maybe you won't actually, I'm not sure, because I did redo it because it disappeared when I went into the game again, which sucked, but I didn't notice until it had been a while, so I don't know if the screenshots are without the terrain paint or if it's with the terrain, or if they're with the terrain paint. We'll see, but the uploaded version is 100% with terrain paint, I promise. But yeah, that happened. It happens sometimes. But other than that, we are pretty much about done now. So if you guys like this house, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!
Even when my teardrops start to dry, even when the sun begins to shine again, taking all the advice there is and none of it has helped. Experience has made me realize that I won't build my life on empty words. Being so damn naive, it only hurts. I'm so tired of love songs, life never turns out the way they do. I've been trying for so long, looking for someone who wants me to. I've heard every cliche there is and none of them make sense. I'm so tired of love songs, I'm sick and tired of love songs. I'm so tired of you. Looking back on how I used to be, I always thought that love was made for me.